He wasn't flirting when he stepped into her space. He was negotiating her future. 6 months. A fake marriage. Total control. And as Hannah stared at the contract, she realized the most dangerous clause wasn't written on the page. Welcome back, beautiful souls. If you're new here, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe because trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next in this story. The Venice Beach Pier stretched into the Pacific like a promise that was never kept. Hannah Torres stood at the edge, her dark curls whipping around her face in the salt-thick wind. It was past midnight, the kind of hour when the world belonged to people with nowhere else to go, and she definitely qualified. Her fingers clutched the eviction notice, the paper already soft from being folded and unfolded 100 times. 72 hours. That's all she had left before they threw her and her daughter onto the street. $53,000. That's what 3 months of unpaid rent looked like when you lived in Southern California and worked 2 jobs that barely covered groceries. Her ex-husband's promises had been as empty as her bank account, and now he was gone, disappeared to God knows where, leaving her to clean up the mess. You know, most people come to the pier to enjoy the view, not to look like they're planning to jump, a voice said behind her, smooth as silk and just as dangerous. Hannah spun around, her heart hammering. A man stood there, hands in the pockets of what had to be a custom-made suit, looking completely out of place among the closed carnival booths and scattered tourists. He was tall, built like he spent serious time in the gym, with dark hair swept back and eyes that caught the moonlight like polished obsidian. "I'm not jumping," she said, lifting her chin. "And you shouldn't sneak up on people." "Wasn't sneaking. You were just too lost in your thoughts to notice." He moved closer, and she noticed he walked like a predator, all controlled power and confidence. "Hannah Torres, right?" Her blood went cold. "How do you know my name?" "I make it my business to know things." He extended his hand. "Marcus Steele. I own the building you're about to be evicted from." Of course, her landlord would be some gorgeous, arrogant billionaire who probably bought properties the way normal people bought coffee. She ignored his hand. "Come to gloat? Watch the struggling single mother break down?" Something flickered in those dark eyes, something she couldn't quite read. "Actually, I came to make you an offer. Not interested in whatever scam you're selling." "It's not a scam." He pulled out a business card, held it between 2 fingers. "It's a job opportunity, one that would solve all your financial problems." Hannah laughed, the sound bitter. "Right. Let me guess, you need a maid, a personal assistant, someone to fetch your dry cleaning?" Marcus smiled, and it was the kind of smile that made her stomach flip despite her anger. "Nothing quite so simple, but we're not having this conversation on a pier at midnight. My car is parked over there. We'll talk somewhere warm, somewhere private, and you'll hear me out. That's all I'm asking." "I don't get into cars with strangers." "Smart." He pulled out his phone, showed her his driver's license on the screen, followed by articles from Forbes, Business Insider, tech magazines, Marcus Steele, tech mogul, real estate developer, venture capitalist. Net worth somewhere in the billions. "Still a stranger, but at least now you know I'm a stranger who can actually help you." Every instinct told her to walk away. But where would she go? back to her sister's couch where her 7-year-old daughter was sleeping, to explain that tomorrow they'd be homeless. She looked at Marcus Steele, at this man who'd somehow found her in her darkest moment, and thought about her baby girl's face. "One conversation," she said. "That's it." His smile widened. "That's all I need." The car was a Maserati, all black leather and dashboard technology that probably cost more than a year's rent. Hannah slid into the passenger seat, and the door closed with a sound that felt final, like a chapter ending. Marcus settled into the driver's seat, and suddenly the space felt too small. He was too close, too real, too overwhelming in every way. "Where are we going?" she asked as the engine purred to life. "My office. It's private, secure, and has the paperwork we'll need if you agree to my proposal." "What proposal?" He glanced at her, and in the dashboard lights, his face looked carved from shadow and ambition. "I need someone with your specific qualifications for a very particular position. I'm a graphic designer who waitresses on weekends. What could you possibly need me for? You're also someone who's desperate, who has something to lose, and who won't ask too many questions." He said it matter-of-factly, without judgment. "That's exactly what I need." "You're not making this sound any better." "Bear with me." The Maserati glided through the empty streets of Venice, heading toward the gleaming towers of downtown LA. "I'll explain everything once we're somewhere we can talk properly." Hannah studied his profile, the strong jaw, the way his hands rested easily on the steering wheel, like he controlled everything he touched. "Why me? There are thousands of desperate people in this city. Why specifically me?" Marcus was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was different, softer somehow. "Because I've been watching you for 3 months, and I know you're exactly what I need." "That's creepy." "That's honest." He pulled into an underground garage beneath a skyscraper that probably had his name on it somewhere. "I don't do anything without research, Hannah. I know you work 2 jobs. I know you have a daughter named Sophia. I know your ex-husband emptied your savings and disappeared. I know you've been fighting to keep your head above water for 6 months, and you're losing the battle." Anger and fear warred in her chest. "You investigated me?" "Thoroughly." He parked in a spot marked Private M. Steele and killed the engine. "I know everything about you, and I'm still making you this offer." They rode the elevator in silence all the way to the top floor. The doors opened directly into an office that looked like it belonged in a magazine. All floor-to-ceiling windows and modern furniture and abstract art that probably cost 6 figures. Marcus shrugged off his jacket, draped it over a chair, and poured 2 glasses of amber liquid from a crystal decanter. He handed her one. "I don't drink," she said. "You might want to start." He gestured to a leather sofa. "Sit, let me explain." Hannah sat, her hands wrapped around the glass for something to do. Marcus settled into the chair across from her, close enough that she could see gold flecks in his dark eyes. "I need a wife," he said simply. She blinked. "Excuse me?" "Not a real wife, a contracted arrangement. 6 months, purely professional with very specific terms." He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "My grandfather left me controlling interest in steel industries with one condition. I have to be married before my 35th birthday, which is in 6 months, or the company goes to my cousin." "That's archaic." "That's family legacy and old money." His smile was sharp. My cousin would destroy everything my grandfather built. I can't let that happen. So hire an actress, find someone on a dating app. Why me? Because you need money and I need authenticity. Marcus stood, walked to his desk, and pulled out a contract that had to be 50 pages thick. My cousin is smart. He'll investigate any woman I suddenly marry. I need someone with a real life, real problems, real motivations. Someone who won't fall for me and complicate things. You think pretty highly of yourself. I'm realistic about my assets. He sat on the edge of his desk, looking down at her. Here's what I'm offering. You move into my penthouse for 6 months. You appear at events with me, play the role of my wife, and make everyone believe we're the real thing. In exchange, I pay off all your debts, give you $100,000 in cash, and set up a trust fund for Sophia's college education. Hannah's hands shook. That kind of money would change everything. What's the catch? The catch is that you have to sell it. My family, my business partners, the media, everyone has to believe we're genuinely in love. His eyes locked on hers. That means spending significant time together, learning everything about each other, letting me into your life. You said this was professional? It is. But it has to look real. Marcus pushed off the desk, came to stand directly in front of her. I'm not asking you to actually care about me, Hannah. I'm asking you to act like you do. She stood up, needing to not feel so small. Even standing, she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. This is insane. This is business. His voice dropped, intimate. I need someone smart enough to play the game and desperate enough to play it well. You need money and security for your daughter. We can give each other what we need. Why don't you just find someone who actually wants to marry you? Something dark crossed his face. Because I don't do real relationships. I don't do feelings. I learned a long time ago that love is just another transaction, and I'd rather control the terms from the start. There was a story there, Hannah could tell. Pain buried under all that confidence and control. She looked at the contract on his desk, thought about Sophia's face, about the eviction notice, about the crushing weight of trying to survive alone. I want to read the contract. Every word. Marcus's smile was approving. I'd be disappointed if you didn't. 2 hours later, Hannah's eyes hurt from reading legal jargon, but she understood the basics. 6 months of pretending to be Mrs. Marcus Steele, living in his home, attending events, maintaining the illusion of a happy marriage. No physical relationship required, though public displays of affection would be necessary. Complete financial security in exchange for playing a role. Clause 12, she said, pointing at a paragraph. It says I can't date anyone else during the contract period. Can't have you being photographed with another man. It would ruin the illusion. What about you? Same rules apply. Marcus refilled her water glass, which she'd emptied 3 times. For 6 months, we're exclusively each other's, at least in public. And Sophia, she'll live with us. I've already had the second bedroom in my penthouse converted into a child's room. Pink walls, new furniture, toys, everything a 7-year-old might want. He said it casually, like dropping thousands on a room for a stranger's child was normal. She'll go to a better school, have access to tutors, anything she needs. Hannah's throat tightened. You really did think of everything. I always do. He sat beside her on the sofa, close enough that she could smell his cologne, something woodsy and expensive. I know this is overwhelming. Take the night, think about it, talk to your sister if you need to. But I need an answer by tomorrow morning. Why the rush? Because your eviction is in 72 hours and I need time to set everything up. His hand reached out, almost touched her face, then dropped. I'm offering you a way out, Hannah. A way to give Sophia the life you want for her. All you have to do is pretend to love me for 6 months. She looked at him. Really looked at him. Marcus Steele was dangerous. Not because he was cruel, but because he was tempting. Because his offer was everything she needed wrapped in a package she couldn't quite trust. If I do this, she said slowly, I need you to promise me something. Name it. Sophia comes first. Always. If anything about this arrangement puts her at risk or hurts her, the deal is off. Something soft crossed Marcus's face, gone so quickly she almost missed it. Agreed. In fact, I'll add it to the contract. Sophia's well-being is paramount. And I need access to my own bank account. I won't be financially dependent on you beyond what we've agreed to. Fair. He stood, pulled out his phone, made a note. Anything else? Yes. Hannah stood too, squaring her shoulders. I need you to understand that I'm doing this for my daughter, not for you. This is a business arrangement, nothing more. Don't expect me to actually fall for your money or your looks or whatever charm you think you have. Marcus's smile was slow and dangerous. Noted. Though I should warn you, Hannah, I'm very good at getting what I want. And right now, I want you to sign this contract. For your company. For my company, he agreed. But something in his eyes suggested there was more to it than that. Hannah picked up the pen, heavy and expensive. She thought about Sophia, about the trust fund, about never having to choose between electricity and groceries again. She thought about 6 months of playing pretend with a man who looked at her like she was a puzzle he was determined to solve. She signed her name. Marcus watched each stroke of the pen, and when she finished, he signed below her signature with swift efficiency. Then he locked the contract in his desk drawer and turned to her with a smile that was pure satisfaction. Welcome to the family, Mrs. Steele. We're not actually married yet. Details. He pulled out his phone. I'll have my assistant arrange the courthouse ceremony for this week. We'll need to coordinate our stories, get you moved into the penthouse, introduce you to the key people in my life. This week? No point in waiting. Marcus moved closer, and Hannah found herself backing up until she hit his desk. He braced his hands on either side of her, not touching, but caging her in. The sooner we start, the sooner people believe it, and the sooner people believe it, the safer we both are. Safer? My cousin plays dirty. Once he finds out I'm married, he'll look for any excuse to prove it's fake. His face was inches from hers now, his voice dropping to something intimate and dark. So we need to be convincing, very convincing. I can act. Can you? His eyes dropped to her lips. Can you look at me like you're in love? Can you let me touch you in public without flinching? Can you sell the world on the idea that you chose me? Her breath caught. That's what you're paying me for. Good. He pushed back, giving her space, and the loss of his proximity felt like cold water. My driver will pick you up tomorrow morning. Pack everything you need. We'll handle the logistics of ending your lease and moving your things. What do I tell Sophia? Marcus's expression softened. Tell her the truth, that you met someone who can help us. and we're going to stay with him for a while. Kids are resilient. She'll adapt. She's been through a lot with her father leaving. Then we'll make sure this is different. He walked her to the elevator, pressed the button. I'm not going to abandon you, Hannah. That's not how I operate. For the next 6 months, you're under my protection. That means something to me. The elevator doors opened. Hannah stepped inside, turned to face him. I hope I don't regret this. You won't. Marcus's smile was confident, certain. I always take care of what's mine. The doors closed on his face, and Hannah leaned against the elevator wall, her heart pounding. What had she just agreed to? The next morning came too quickly. Hannah had barely slept, her mind racing through everything that could go wrong. But when Marcus's driver arrived, a kind older man named James, she had her and Sophia's things packed and ready. Mama, where are we going? Sophia asked, clutching her favorite stuffed elephant. We're going to stay with a friend for a while, baby. He's going to help us out. Is he nice? Hannah thought about Marcus, about his calculated charm and dangerous eyes. I think so. We'll find out together. The penthouse was in Century City, taking up the entire top floor of a building that overlooked the city like a kingdom. When the elevator opened directly into the living space, Sophia's eyes went wide. Whoa! Whoa is right, Hannah murmured. Everything was sleek and modern, all glass and chrome and furniture that looked more like art than something you'd actually sit on. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed Los Angeles spread out below them, the morning sun turning everything gold. You made it. Marcus appeared from what must be his bedroom, wearing jeans and a t-shirt that showed off his build. Casual looked good on him. Everything looked good on him. Sophia, right? Her daughter nodded, suddenly shy. Marcus knelt down to her level, his entire demeanor changing. I'm Marcus. Your mom told me you like elephants. He's my favorite. Sophia held up her stuffed animal. Excellent choice. Elephants are smart and loyal, two very important qualities. He smiled, genuine and warm. Want to see your new room? Sophia looked at Hannah for permission. She nodded, and her daughter took Marcus's offered hand with a trust that made Hannah's chest tight. He led them down a hallway to a bedroom that made Sophia gasp. Pink walls decorated with hand-painted flowers, a bed shaped like a castle, shelves full of books and toys, and a window seat overlooking the city. Is this really for me? Sophia whispered. All yours. Marcus straightened, caught Hannah's eye. I might have gone overboard. You think? But she was smiling, watching Sophia explore her new space with wonder. Mama, can I stay here, please? That's the plan, baby. After Sophia was settled with her new toys, Marcus led Hannah to the master suite. It was enormous, dominated by a king-sized bed with dark gray sheets that looked expensive and sinful. Where am I sleeping? She asked. Here. At her expression, he laughed. Relax. I'll take the guest room. But if anyone asks if anyone ever gets this far, we share this room. So you should move your things in here. This feels weird. It'll feel normal soon. Marcus opened the closet, revealing a space the size of her old bedroom. Half of it was empty. Your side. I had my assistant order some basics, dresses for events, casual clothes, shoes. If anything doesn't fit or you need something else, just say so. Hannah touched a silk dress, midnight blue and gorgeous. You guess my size? I'm very observant. His voice was close to her ear, sending shivers down her spine. And I wanted you to have options. She turned, found him right there, invading her space with that intensity he seemed to carry everywhere. We need boundaries. Agreed. But he didn't move back. Tell me what they are. No entering my space without permission, no touching unless it's for public appearances, and no trying to make this more than what it is. What about you? His eyes searched hers. Same rules apply, obviously. Even if you want to touch me. His smile was dangerous. Even if you start to wonder what it would be like if this was real. That won't happen. We'll see. He finally stepped back, giving her room to breathe. Dinner is at 7. My family is coming to meet you. Panic flared. Tonight, already. Strike while the iron is hot. My parents, my sister, will tell them we met a few months ago and fell hard. Fast romance, couldn't wait, decided to elope. He made it sound so simple. They'll ask questions. We need our story straight. How did we meet? You were at one of my properties dealing with the eviction. I saw you, was captivated, and asked you out. Marcus pulled out his phone, showed her a timeline. First date was coffee, talked for hours. Second date was dinner at Catch LA. Third date was a drive up the coast, and I told you I was falling for you. How romantic. Her tone was dry. It has to be believable. He put his phone away. They need to think I'm head over heels, that you're the one woman who finally caught me. And me? What's my motivation? You fell for my charm and my wallet. In that order. His smile was self-deprecating. It's what people will believe anyway. Might as well lean into it. Hannah hated how much that stung. The casual assumption that she was only here for money. Even though it was true, even though she'd signed a contract, hearing him say it so bluntly hurt. Fine. Give me the background on your family so I don't mess this up. They spent the afternoon going over details. His parents, Robert and Catherine Steele, old money and older values. His sister Natalie, a corporate lawyer who'd probably see through any lie. His cousin Derek, the one trying to steal his company, charming and dangerous and not to be trusted. By the time 7 o'clock rolled around, Hannah's head was spinning with information. She'd changed into one of the dresses Marcus had provided, black and elegant, and pulled her hair back in a style that felt sophisticated. You look beautiful, Marcus said when she emerged. He'd changed, too, back into a suit that made him look powerful and untouchable. It's the expensive dress. It's you. He offered his arm. Ready? No. Good, neither am I. His smile was conspiratorial. Let's survive this together. The elevator ride down to the private dining room felt like descending into battle. Hannah's stomach churned, her palms sweaty. Marcus must have sensed her panic because he took her hand, laced their fingers together. Remember, he murmured, you're in love with me. I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. Such confidence, such accuracy. But his hand squeezed hers, warm and reassuring. The doors opened and Hannah stepped into a room full of Steeles. Marcus's mother was elegant and sharp-eyed, his father all business and scrutiny. His sister Natalie looked like she could see through walls. And there was someone else, a man with Marcus's same dark eyes and a smile that felt predatory. Everyone, Marcus said, his arm sliding around Hannah's waist, pulling her close. This is Hannah, my fiancée. The room erupted in questions, and Hannah held on to Marcus like a lifeline, praying she could pull this off. Catherine Steele recovered first, her composure sliding back into place like armor. Fiancé? Marcus, this is rather sudden. When you know, you know. Marcus's voice was easy, confident. His thumb traced circles on Hannah's hip, a gesture so casual and intimate that it almost felt real. Mother, father, Natalie, I'd like you to meet Hannah Torres, the woman I'm going to marry. Torres? Robert Steele's eyes narrowed. Any relation to the California Torres family? No, sir. My family is from New Mexico originally. Hannah found her voice, lifted her chin. I'm a graphic designer. We met 3 months ago when I was dealing with a property issue at one of Marcus's buildings. How coincidentally romantic, the other man said, his smile sharp. I'm Derek, Marcus's cousin. I had no idea he was seeing anyone. I keep my personal life private. Marcus's voice cooled several degrees. Derek wasn't on the guest list tonight. I heard family dinner and thought I'd stop by. Derek's eyes traveled over Hannah in a way that made her skin crawl. Can't blame me for wanting to meet the woman who finally caught the great Marcus Steele. Actually, I can. Marcus moved slightly, putting himself between Derek and Hannah. But since you're here, you can congratulate us and leave. The tension in the room could be cut with a knife. Natalie stepped forward, breaking the moment. Congratulations, this is unexpected. But if my brother is happy, then I'm happy. She extended her hand to Hannah. Though I'd love to know more about how you managed to get past his walls. Hannah shook her hand, felt the assessment in Natalie's grip. I didn't try to get past them. I think that's what made the difference. Clever answer. Natalie's smile was genuine this time. Maybe you're exactly what he needs. Dinner was an interrogation disguised as celebration. Catherine asked about Hannah's family, her background, her intentions. Robert questioned her about her career, her education, her plans. Derek watched everything with knowing eyes that suggested he saw right through their act. Only Natalie seemed genuinely pleased, peppering Hannah with questions about the wedding, asking about Sophia with real interest. You have a daughter? Catherine's voice was carefully neutral. Yes, she's 7. Her name is Sophia. Hannah met the older woman's eyes. She's the most important thing in my world. And Marcus knows about her. I've met her, Marcus interjected smoothly. She's incredible, smart, curious, brave. I'm looking forward to being part of her life. Something shifted in Catherine's expression. That's a significant responsibility. I'm aware. Marcus's hand found Hannah's under the table, squeezed. I don't take it lightly. After dessert, while the others were distracted with coffee, Derek cornered Hannah near the window. You're good, he said quietly. The loving fiancé act, the protective mother routine. Very convincing. It's not an act. Please. His smile was condescending. Marcus doesn't do love, he does acquisitions. Whatever deal you two have worked out, just know that when he's done with you, he'll discard you without a second thought. You don't know him as well as you think. I know him better than anyone. Derek leaned closer, his voice dropping. He's using you for something. The question is, what are you using him for? That's none of your business. Everything about Marcus is my business. His eyes hardened. Especially when it affects the company. So whatever game you two are playing, I'll figure it out. And when I do, you'll wish you'd never met him. Is there a problem here? Marcus appeared at Hannah's side, his presence radiating controlled danger. Just getting to know your lovely fiancé. Derek's smile was all teeth. She's fascinating. Stay away from her. Marcus's voice was quiet, deadly. That's not a request. Or what? You'll have me thrown out of my own family? Derek laughed. We both know you need me more than I need you, cousin, at least for the next 6 months. He walked away, leaving Hannah shaking slightly. Marcus's arm came around her, pulling her against his chest. Breathe, he murmured into her hair. He's all bark. He knows something's wrong. He suspects that's different. Marcus pulled back to look at her face. You did perfectly tonight. My parents are charmed, Natalie likes you, and Derek is worried. That's exactly where we want them. Your family is intense. That's one word for it. His thumb brushed across her cheek, a gesture so tender it made her heart stutter. Come on, let's get you home. Before my mother starts planning a wedding we're not actually having. The ride back to the penthouse was quiet. Hannah stared out the window, watching the city lights blur past, trying to process everything. When they got inside, she headed straight for Sophia's room. Her daughter was asleep, peaceful and safe in her castle bed. Hannah sat on the edge, brushed hair from Sophia's forehead, and felt tears prick her eyes. She's beautiful, Marcus said softly from the doorway. Like her mother. Don't. Don't what? Don't say things like that when we're alone, when there's no one to perform for. Hannah stood, walked past him into the hallway. I need the lines to stay clear. Marcus caught her wrist, gentle but firm. What if I mean it? Then you're breaking our agreement. She pulled away. Good night, Marcus. She locked herself in the master bedroom, pressed her back against the door, and tried to remember why falling for Marcus Steele would be the worst mistake she could make. The courthouse ceremony happened 3 days later, quick and clinical, and nothing like Hannah had ever imagined her wedding would be. She wore a simple cream dress, Marcus wore a navy suit, and they exchanged vows in front of a judge who'd clearly performed thousands of these quick marriages. You may kiss the bride. Marcus's hands cupped her face, his eyes searching hers for permission. Then his lips touched hers, soft and questioning. And for a moment, Hannah forgot this was fake, forgot about contracts and money and 6-month timelines. His kiss was careful, restrained, nothing like the heat she'd seen in his eyes when he thought she wasn't looking. When they pulled apart, his thumb brushed her lower lip. Now it's real, he whispered. Except it wasn't. They both knew it wasn't. The next weeks passed in a blur of public appearances and private adjustments. Marcus took them to charity galas, where Hannah wore designer dresses and learned to navigate conversations with the wealthy and powerful. He introduced her to his business partners as his wife, his hand always possessive on her waist, his eyes tracking her every movement. At home, they maintained their boundaries. Separate bedrooms, minimal touching, careful politeness. But Sophia complicated things because she adored Marcus. He helped with her homework every night, his patience endless as he explained fractions and spelling words. He took them to the aquarium on weekends, to the beach, to bookstores, where he let Sophia pick out as many books as she wanted. He made her laugh, made her feel safe, made her call him Marcus with easy affection. He's really nice, Sophia told Hannah one night during their bedtime routine. Is he going to be my daddy? Hannah's heart clenched. It's complicated, baby. He said he wants to be. He said he'd always take care of us. Sophia's eyes were serious. I think he means it. Maybe he does. Hannah kissed her forehead. But we can't count on forever, okay? We just enjoy right now. That night, unable to sleep, Hannah wandered to the living room and found Marcus on the balcony, staring at the city below. Can't sleep? He asked without turning around. Too much on my mind. She joined him at the railing. Sophia asked if you're going to be her father. Marcus's jaw tightened. What did you tell her? That it's complicated, that she shouldn't get her hopes up. Maybe she should. He finally looked at her, and something raw flickered in his eyes. Maybe we all should. Marcus, I know, boundaries, business arrangement, 6 months, and then we're done. He laughed, the sound bitter. Except I wake up every morning and hear her laughing, and I see you making breakfast in my kitchen like you belong there, and I'm starting to forget why I thought I didn't want this. Hannah's breath caught. You're lonely. That's all this is. You think I haven't been lonely before? You think I haven't had women in my life, in my bed, in my space? Marcus moved closer, backing her against the railing. This is different. You're different, and I'm terrified of what that means. We have a contract. To hell with the contract. His hands framed her face. Tell me you don't feel this. Tell me when I touch you, you don't want more. I can't. The truth spilled out. I can't tell you that because it would be a lie. He kissed her then, not careful or restrained, but deep and claiming and desperate. Hannah kissed him back, her hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer. It was everything the courthouse kiss wasn't, raw and real and terrifying. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Marcus rested his forehead against hers. This isn't part of the deal, she whispered. I don't care about the deal anymore. His voice was rough. I care about you, about Sophia, about the family we're building, even if it started as a lie. Marcus, we can't. Your grandfather's will, the company, Derek. If this becomes real and then falls apart, you lose everything. And if I let you walk away in 4 months, I lose everything that actually matters. His thumb stroked her cheeks. I'm falling for you, Hannah. I've probably been falling since that night on the pier, and I'm done pretending I'm not. What are you saying? I'm saying let's make this real, not the contract, not the performance. Us. He pulled back to look in her eyes. Stay because you want to, not because I'm paying you. Let me be Sophia's father, not because it's part of a deal, but because I love her. Let me be your husband, for real. Hannah wanted to say yes, wanted to believe in fairy tales and happy endings, but reality crashed in, cold and unforgiving. Your family will never accept me. Your world will never accept us. And when they find out we started as a business arrangement, it'll destroy your reputation. Let it. Marcus's voice was fierce. I built this company once. I can build it again. But you, what we have, I can't rebuild that. You barely know me. I know you work yourself to exhaustion to provide for your daughter. I know you're fierce and proud and too stubborn to ask for help. I know you cry during animated movies and hate mushrooms and sing off key when you think no one's listening. His smile was soft. I know you, Hannah, and I want to know everything else. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him so badly. But years of disappointment had taught her to be careful with her heart. Can we take this slow? Can we just see what happens without making promises we might not keep? I can work with slow. Marcus kissed her forehead. As long as you're not planning to leave when the 6 months are up. I don't know what I'm planning anymore. Good. That makes 2 of us. He took her hand, led her back inside. Come to bed with me. Not for anything except sleep. I just want to hold you. Marcus? Please let me have this one thing." Against her better judgment, Hannah followed him to the master bedroom. They lay down together, still fully clothed, and Marcos pulled her against his chest. His heart beat steady under her ear, his arms secure around her. "Thank you," he murmured into her hair. "For what?" "For giving me a chance to deserve you." Hannah closed her eyes and let herself pretend, just for tonight, that this could last forever. The next morning brought reality crashing back in the form of Marcus Steele and a tabloid photographer. Hannah and Sophia were at the park, just the two of them, enjoying a Saturday morning. Marcus had a meeting he couldn't skip, but he'd made her promise to text him updates, to let him know she was safe. She was pushing Sophia on the swings when she noticed the man with the camera. At first, she thought he was just another parent documenting their kid's childhood. But his lens was pointed at her, not at the children. "Mrs. Steele!" he called out. "How does it feel to trap a billionaire?" Hannah froze. Sophia turned, confused. "Mama!" "It's okay, baby." She kept her voice steady even as panic clawed at her throat. "Keep swinging." The photographer moved closer, his camera clicking rapidly. "Is it true you were about to be evicted when Marcus found you? That you were desperate?" No comment. Hannah pulled out her phone, texted Marcus with shaking hands. "Park, photographer, help." "Come on, give me something. Gold Digger Falls for Billionaire is a great story. Or is this just about his money?" The man's smile was cruel. "Does your daughter know her mother is a—" "Finish that sentence and you'll regret it." Marcus's voice cut through the park like a blade. He appeared from nowhere, positioning himself between Hannah and the photographer. James was with him, along with two security guards who'd materialized from the edges of the park. "Mr. Steele just trying to get the story." "The story is you're harassing my family on private time." Marcus's voice was ice. "James, call the police. I want this man arrested for harassment." "You can't do that." "Watch me." Marcus turned to Hannah, his hands gentle as they cupped her face. "Are you okay?" She nodded, not trusting her voice. He looked at Sophia, who'd stopped swinging and was watching with wide, frightened eyes. In 2 strides, he was there, scooping her up. "Hey, princess, you okay?" Sophia buried her face in his neck. "That man was mean." "Yeah, he was. But he's going away now and you're safe. I've got you." Marcus's hand rubbed soothing circles on her back. "Both of you, you're safe." The security guards escorted the photographer away. Marcus carried Sophia to the car, Hannah following on shaking legs. Once they were inside, doors locked, driving away, she finally let herself break. "How did they find us?" Marcus's jaw was tight. "Derek, he must have tipped them off, told them where you'd be. He's trying to prove we're fake. He's trying to scare you away." Marcus reached over, took her hand. "But it won't work. We'll get a restraining order, increase security, make sure this doesn't happen again." "This is insane. I didn't sign up for being hunted by paparazzi." "I know. I'm sorry." His grip tightened. "But I meant what I said last night. I'm not letting you go. Not because of Derek, not because of photographers, not because of anything." Sophia had fallen asleep against his shoulder, worn out from fear and adrenaline. Hannah watched them. This man holding her daughter like she was precious, and felt something crack open in her chest. "I'm falling for you too," she whispered. Marcus's eyes met hers in the rearview mirror. "Say that again." "I'm falling for you. I don't want to. I know it's a terrible idea, but I can't help it." His smile was brilliant and relieved, and full of promise. Then fall. I'll catch you. That night, after Sophia was asleep and the security team Marcus had hired was positioned around the building, they sat together in his home office. "We need to tell my family the truth," Marcus said. "Not the public, not Derek, but my parents and Natalie. They deserve to know how this started. They'll hate me. They'll understand." He pulled her onto his lap, arms wrapping around her waist. "And if they don't, that's their problem, not ours." "What about the company? The will?" "My birthday is in 3 months. If we're still married, then legitimately married and committed, the company stays mine." Marcus tucked hair behind her ear. "But I want you to know, even if we lose it all, even if Derek gets everything, I choose you. I choose this. You're insane. About you, absolutely." He kissed her neck, making her shiver. "Move into this room with me. Actually move in, not just for show. Share my bed, share my life. Let's do this for real." Hannah turned in his arms, straddled his lap, and kissed him deeply. When she pulled back, both of them breathing hard, she smiled. "Okay. Yes, let's be real." Marcus stood, lifting her with him, and carried her to the bedroom. He laid her on the bed with reverence, his hands skating over her skin like she was something precious. "I'm going to take care of you," he promised, settling over her. "You and Sophia, for as long as you'll let me." "Forever sounds good." "Forever it is." He kissed her again, deep and claiming. "You're mine now, Hannah, really mine." "And you're mine." She pulled him closer, let herself believe in happy endings. They made love slowly, learning each other, building something real from the ashes of their fake beginning. And when they were tangled together afterward, Marcus whispered into her hair, "I love you. I know it's too soon. I know we started all wrong, but I love you." Hannah's heart swelled. "I love you too. God help me, but I do." The conversation with Marcus's family happened a week later. They gathered in the penthouse, everyone tense, sensing something big was coming. Marcus held Hannah's hand as he explained everything. The contract, the desperation, the fake marriage that had become real. His mother looked shocked, his father angry, but Natalie just smiled. "I knew something was off," she said, "but I also saw how you looked at each other. That wasn't fake." "It is now," Marcus said firmly. "We love each other. We're building a real marriage, and I need you to accept that." Catherine stood, walked to Hannah, and surprised everyone by pulling her into a hug. "You saved my son," she said quietly. "He was so closed off, so lonely, and you brought him back to life. Contract or not, you're family now." Robert was harder to convince, but eventually even he came around, especially after seeing Marcus with Sophia. "You're good for him," he told Hannah privately. "Don't hurt him." "I won't. He has my heart." But Derek was another problem entirely. He was furious when the board meeting came and went, when Marcus's marriage was deemed legitimate and the company stayed firmly in his control. "This isn't over," Derek promised at a charity gala 2 weeks later. "I'll find a way to prove this is fraud." "Good luck with that," Marcus said, pulling Hannah closer. "Because the only fraud here is you pretending to care about the family legacy when you just want power." Derek's eyes narrowed. "Watch your back, cousin." "I always do." The threat hung over them, but Marcus hired more security, kept Hannah and Sophia protected, and refused to let fear control their lives. 3 months into their marriage, now real in every way that mattered, Hannah stood in their bedroom watching Marcus play with Sophia in the living room through the doorway. He was teaching her chess, patiently explaining strategy while she giggled and moved pieces randomly. "I love you," Hannah called out. Marcus looked up, his smile brilliant. "Come here and say that." She crossed to him, let him pull her onto his lap. Sophia made a disgusted sound. Gross. You guys kiss all the time." "Get used to it, princess," Marcus said, kissing Hannah's temple. "I plan to kiss your mom forever." "Forever and ever?" Sophia asked. "Forever and ever," he confirmed. That night, after Sophia was asleep, Marcus pulled Hannah out onto the balcony where they'd first admitted their feelings. "I have something for you," he said. He handed her a small box. Inside was a ring, different from the one he'd given her at the courthouse. This one was antique, beautiful, with stones that caught the light. "It was my grandmother's," Marcus explained. "She left it to me, specifically, told me to give it to someone I truly loved." He took the ring, slid it onto her finger beside her wedding band. "You're it, Hannah. You're my true love, my real wife, my forever." Tears slipped down her cheeks. "You're mine too. Always, always," he agreed, kissing her. 6 months after that night on the pier, Hannah stood in the same spot. But this time, she wasn't alone. Marcus was beside her, his arm around her waist, their future stretching bright and certain before them. "Thank you," she said softly. "For what?" "For finding me. For saving me. For loving me." Marcus turned her to face him, his hands cradling her face. "You saved me right back. And I'll spend every day of our lives being grateful for that night, for that contract, for every moment that led me to you." He kissed her as the sun set over the Pacific, and Hannah knew with absolute certainty that sometimes the best love stories start with desperate choices and become something beautiful anyway. They'd started with a contract and ended with forever. And that was more than either of them had ever dreamed possible. The end. If this story made your heart race and left you believing in second chances, drop a comment below. What moment hit you hardest? When Hannah stood up to the photographer, when Marcus admitted he'd fallen for real, when they finally chose each other over the contract? Share this story with someone who loves modern romance, with protective billionaires and strong women who refuse to be broken. And if you want more stories about fake relationships turning real, about love conquering fear, about families built from broken pieces, let me know in the comments. Your support means everything. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next story. Until then, keep believing in love.